it's Alice, and I'm here again with another episode of Book Chat. So, as is normal with the first book chat of the month, this week is going to be mostly me talking about the different theme reveals and autumn book reads predictions for each of the featured books for the upcoming book boxes. So if you aren't interested in getting book box spoilers, then you might want to turn away now. But if you are interested in seeing what autumn thinks might be going on in the next couple of months in book box land, then this is the video for you. There's also some kind of assorted news at the end of the episode, and I'll give you a bit of a reading update as well. But spoiler alert, I haven't really done much reading again this week because my brain is a hellhole. What else can I tell you? So we will start off with Fairy Loot, and they have had all of their theme reveals for August and all of their aesthetic reveals for September posted this week. The August YA theme is Reflected Realms, and it looks like that's going to be The Girl with No Reflection by Kessie Chow. While the September YA aesthetic reel looks as though it might be The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle, who is one of the two co-authors of Twin Crowns. This does have 2 exclusive editions available for pre-ordering from Waterstones. So if you're interested in this one but you're not a Fairy Loot subscriber, or if you're not interested in like a Fairy Loot special edition of it, you do have other options with that one. The August romantasy theme is Captive Hearts. It looks like that one's going to be Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. I will be honest, the cover for this one does not grab me at all. If it wasn't a romantasy pick, I don't think I would personally choose it as a book myself. I'm interested in seeing what Fairy Loot do with this one, but I'm hoping that it's quite a dramatic redesign. Meanwhile, the September romantasy aesthetic reel looks as though it might be The Half King by Melissa Landers. Autumn actually did get a leak earlier in the year that told her that Fairy Loot were going to be doing The Half King at some point. I've read a couple of Melissa Landers' older books and really enjoyed them, so I'm looking forward to seeing her writing in a different genre and seeing whether I still love her writing after so many years. The August adult theme is Villains Assemble, and it looks like this one's going to be Long Live Evil by Sarah Rees Brennan. This is another one that I'm really excited about. It sounds super fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the redesign. And the September adult aesthetic reel looks as though it's probably going to be The Gods Below by Andrea Stewart. She's the author of The Bone Shard Daughter, and I believe this is going to be the first book that she's written outside of that trilogy, so it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. Moving on to Owl Crate. Their YA theme reveal was Falling for the Shadows, and it looks as though this is going to be Castle of the Cursed by Romina Garber. I actually have an early access copy of this one through NetGalley. Thank you to the publisher. So I am looking forward to reading this one and seeing whether it's worth the hype and worth an Owl Crate special edition. The adult theme reveal is Bound by Magic. This looks like it's going to be A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. I've been hearing a lot about T. Kingfisher recently, especially because Evernight announced 3 special editions of their books last week. So it'll be interesting to see whether this one takes my fancy. They've also revealed their editions of the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. This is the second set of their Six of Crows Grishaverse series that they're doing. Did I say Six of Crows again? I meant Shadow and Bone. It's been a long day. These are going to be going on general sale on August the 15th if they're still available, but they'll be getting sent out to previous purchasers of the Shadow and Bone set, email subscribers, and users of the Nest app. So there's quite a few pre-sales on this one, so keep an eye out on Owl Crate social media or look at the announcement post for this one if you are eligible for any of those pre-sales or you want to see more details about them. Moving on to Illumicrate, they also did their August theme reveal, which is Look What You Made Me Do, and I am here for anything that's a Taylor Swift reference, so I appreciate that one. It looks like this one's going to be Mistress of Lies by K.M. Enright. They've also revealed 2 more TJ Klune books. They're going to be doing special editions of In the Lives of Puppets and Somewhere Beyond the Sea, which is the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea. They are also going to be doing reprints of the first 2 TJ Klune books that they did, which were Cerulean Sea and Under the Whispering Door. These are going to all be going on general sale on August the 15th, the reprints and the new books. But there is a subscriber pre-sale for the reprints, I believe, and a pre-sale for people who bought the original set for the new ones, I think. But again, it might be worth checking their announcement post for that one because there was a lot of information in a very short space of time. They also revealed the theme for the Afterlight August box, which is Amuse Bouche. It looks like this one's going to be The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. I'm not sure whether I'm going to be interested in reading that one or not, because I hated Red, White and Royal Blue, which was Casey McQuiston's adult debut. I really loved I Kissed Shara Wheeler, which was a YA book. If this is an adult one, I think it's probably going to be more towards the not enjoyed pile. But I am definitely interested in reading more of Casey McQuiston's YA work in the future. For just general announcements, TJ Klune has also revealed that there are going to be indie exclusive signed editions of Somewhere Beyond the Sea. I can't find the link that he posted in his Instagram story. If I do find that, I will link it down below, but it had a list of all of the different independent retailers who are involved in it. I can personally vouch for the fact that Bert's Books in Swindon are involved, because I've pre-ordered my copy through them. It's a beautiful edition, and I pre-ordered it before Illumicrate announced their edition. I'm just going to deal with the fact that I'm going to have two, because I don't want to cancel my indie bookstore order. And I don't want to miss out on the Illumicrate order, because I'm hoping that they'll be the smaller size and they'll all match. So we're just going to have to deal with the fact that we'll have 2 copies of that one coming in. But I did love Cerulean Sea, so I'm hoping that I'll love the sequel just as much. I'm also not sure if this is new news or just news that I'd missed, but it looks like The Bones Beneath My Skin by TJ Klune is also being published on February the 6th as like a traditionally published book. Before it was an independently published, it was one of TJ Klune's first releases, and it's actually being repackaged to match all the rest of them. I'm hoping that we get Illumicrate news on this one soon, or I will end up with 2 copies of that as well. In other news, Murder on a Summer Break by Kate Weston, which is the sequel to Murder on a School Night, which has been shortlisted for the YA Book Prize, was released this week. I didn't actually know that this was going to be a thing. I didn't know Murder on a School Night was getting a sequel, but then I saw the advertisement, so I thought I might as well mention it in here, just in case any of you liked the first book and are interested in continuing on with the series. Jessica Goodman also announced the title of her next book is The Meadowbrook Murders. That's going to be out on February the 4th next year. Sarah El Arifi announced the title of the Feybound sequel, which is going to be Cursebound. This will also be out in February next year, but doesn't have a specific date yet and doesn't have a cover. As far as I'm aware, the Jessica Goodman book has like a stand-in cover, but not an official cover yet, so keep an eye out on that one in the future. There was also a cover reveal for The Undercutting of Adam and Rosie by Megan Bannon. This is going to be the 3rd companion book in the undertaking of Something and Someone. I think the series is called the Tanria series. I think that's the location where they're all based. Heart and Mercy. Heart and Mercy. It came back to me. But yes, these are beautiful covers. My friend really, really recommends the book, so I want to get moving on reading them eventually. But this is going to be the 3rd one. Also, it's the undercutting of Rosie and Adam. I swear I said Adam and Rosie. Or I'm just talking utter nonsense. And then last but not least, Lauren Roberts confirmed that the title of the 3rd book in the Perilous series is going to be Fearless. And what a way to celebrate the release of Reckless than by dropping the title of book 3. There is going to be another novella sitting between books 2 and 3, but the information for that one has not been released yet. So there will be another one in this series. I'm assuming not Wreckful or Fearful. If it's matching the rest of the titles, it would end up being that, which would be interesting, but we'll wait and see, and I'll let you know when I find out. So the only other thing to share with you is the reading update for the week, and I can say that I've managed to make it halfway through Girl, Goddess, Queen by B. Fitzgerald. This is the first book that I'm reading for the YA Book Prize shortlist, and I'm hoping to get the rest of them read, but this one is so chunky. I had some really, really slow progress for a couple of days and couldn't get through much of it, but the pace has picked up dramatically. So this is a retelling of the Persephone and Hades myth, in that Persephone is a girl called Core, which means little girl, purity, chastity, innocence, virtue, all those things. And she's trying to avoid the fact that she's going to be married off to the god who bids the highest, so she runs to the underworld and basically forces Hades to keep her safe, and they end up building a friendship, and they're currently kind of plotting together to make sure that she doesn't have to go back, which is really cool. She's trying to remodel the afterlife at the same time to split it into like a paradise and kind of punishment and purgatory, and it's interesting, but it's very, very slow. And I feel like when there are scenes that are focusing on Core / Persephone and Hades, They flow much nicer. The dialogue's great. The banter's great. It's very witty. There's lots of yearning. It's very interesting when it's focused on the two of them. But as soon as it's Core / Persephone exploring this world and trying to do the research and work out what she's going to do, it just slows down so much that my brain's struggling to cope. As a whole, I'm really enjoying it, and I would not be surprised at all if it ended up winning the YA Book Prize, because there's some very important topics being discussed here about, like, what is good, what is evil, can anybody really fit into one of those things, or is there always going to be a bit of a crossover? Just the idea of, like, the arranged marriage in general is an interesting discussion, and especially the way that, like, other people's expectations can cause you to feel stifled and can cause you to want to lash out just to prove them wrong. So it's got some really interesting discussions going on, and I'm hoping that I'm going to like it more as I get through the second half. But yeah, definitely one that's more of a slow burn, and if you're looking for something that's action-packed very, very quickly, this isn't the one for you. The other book that I'm struggling to get through at the moment is House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J Maas. It's been a while since we've actually made any progress on it, so it feels nice to be able to talk about it today. I think we managed to read maybe 15 chapters this week, which sounds like loads, but the chapters are really, really short, so it's not actually that impressive. I think the whole book's like 101 chapters, so we haven't even made it through like a quarter of the chapters yet. But we're approaching the end. We are in territory that I cannot even begin to describe to you because it's so spoilery and it's so deeply entrenched in the first 3 books. But I will say that this is the longest it's ever taken me to read a Sarah J Maas book, and it is a surprise because I loved the first 2. And I mean, we read House of Earth and Blood in maybe 3 days during COVID, one of the first lockdowns, and for somebody who doesn't normally read thick books that quickly, that was a massive surprise to me. But I've also reread it and read it just as quickly the second time. It took me a little bit longer with House of Sky and Breath, but only like a week, maybe 2. But we are entering our 4th month of reading this, I believe. That's a long time. That's a really long time, especially when I'd been so excited about this and I'd even read A Court of Silver Flames to get ready for it. I was so thoroughly prepared to go into this and absolutely fall head over heels. So I'm surprised that it feels as slow as it does. I think it's definitely building up to a big conclusion, and I think that might make up some of the difference for me. But my main issue is just it feels very bloated. Like, there's a lot of viewpoints. It's like we're seeing characters in these books that we haven't seen in a little while, so we're jumping backwards and forwards, and there's a lot of kind of old material being revisited. And it also seems to be that whenever we go through something with one character, when it goes to the other person's viewpoint, that character then has to relate it so that the new character that we're with can react. But the audience already knows. So when Bryce and Hunt are like, oh, we've had some big news, and then they share the big news, and then everybody's like, oh, but does this mean this? Oh, does this mean this? Oh, what's going to happen here? But the audience has already seen them have those discussions, so it just feels like we're treading the same ground over and over again a little bit. It makes it more realistic, but I don't necessarily know whether it needed to have that amount of detail. So I'll update you next week. I mean, hopefully, oh my god, hopefully we'll have it finished, because we had like 550 little Kindle pages left this morning. We've now got 400 little Kindle pages left. So we've read like a fifth of what we had left just today, on a day when my head hasn't really been with it and the kids have been off school. So that's pretty impressive. We've got a car journey on Wednesday because we're going to go and see Kids in Glass Houses in Portsmouth. First show after Theme from Pink Flamingo has been released, so that's going to be sick. But it does mean that we're going to have kind of like, I think maybe an hour and a half-ish in the car on the way there and back. So we can get some reading done then. Whether it's going to be enough to get us to actually finish it this week remains to be seen, but I'm really, really, really hoping so, because I want to start cracking on with this YA Book Prize, and I feel like because Sean and I haven't been able to read the ones that we want to read together, the it feels like the starting is stalled. I know I'm halfway through Girl Goddess Queen, but to have 7 weeks to go and only be halfway through book 1 is nerve-wracking. How am I supposed to read another 9 books in 7 weeks? That is not going to happen. But we can pretend. We can pretend that everything's under control and that everything is good. I'd also like to share quickly before we go that I have enrolled in the Open University this week. So I don't know what kind of impact that's going to have on everything going forward. Like, I won't be starting until October, but I don't know whether we might need to drop down to kind of like fortnightly book chats, or if we might have more time, or if I might just do more like study themed videos and change the focus of the channel a little bit. I'll let you know more later in the year when I've kind of got it all a bit more figured out. But I basically had a virtual open day to attend, and then I just spontaneously filled out all of the student information and did the student finance application immediately. So to go from forgetting to do it effectively for 6 years, in that I've always wanted to do Open University, but every September I'm like, oh no, I've missed the cut-off period. From forgetting to do it for 6 years to now getting all of the application and everything done in one night feels good. It feels like progress. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to juggle it with everything else we've got going on, but we're just going to find out together and see how it goes. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Book Chat. Please do let me know down in the comments what you've been reading this week, or if you have any thoughts on any of the theme reveals or aesthetic reveals that you've seen with us today. I'm Alyce, and this is the Bumbling Blogger. Please follow us if you'd like to. Give this a like if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next week with another episode of Book Chat. We'll try and have another video up midweek, but we'll see whether that happens or not. See you again soon. Bye. No, not at all.